the complex and emotionally charged case of Rodney Hinton Jr., a Cincinnati father accused of intentionally killing a sheriff's deputy just one day after his 18-year-old son, Ryan Hinton, was fatally shot by police. So we're going to explore the sequence of events, the legal proceedings, and the broader societal implications surrounding this case. This is clip 7. Take a look.
Go. Based on the officer's interviews, the officer who did discharge his firearm said that when the individual came out between the dumpsters, he had the firearm in front of him. He was in like a bladed position, and it was pointed at the officer. And he felt threatened for his life, and that's why he discharged his firearm.
All right. So May 1st of this year, Ryan Hinton, 18, was fatally shot by Cincinnati police after allegedly fleeing from a stolen vehicle and appearing to point a handgun at officers. Body camera footage shows officers identifying a weapon before firing multiple shots. A gun was later found at the scene, but had not been discharged. So the next day, Rodney Hinton Jr., 38, this is the dad, allegedly struck and killed Hamilton County Sheriff's Deputy Larry Henderson with his car near the University of Cincinnati. Prosecutors described Rodney's actions as calculated and premeditated. So asserting that he deliberately accelerated and targeted the on-duty deputy. Shelley, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, you already said it. We said it earlier. Police are under attack, definitely. Not only that, he didn't even murder. He murdered the wrong cop, I would say. Right. Not that he should have murdered. Not that he should have murdered anybody, but he murdered the wrong cop. His son. This is what I want to ask, because this is what really grieves me and vexes me. We were just talking about crime with Black people, and again, I talk about Black people, right? Almost every one of these cases, and we talked about the disproportionality, and I agree to it. I know that. We talk every one of these cases almost, it's a Black, young, mostly young man, young guy that looks, at least appears to be in the thug life. Going up against cops, probably had an illegal firearm, hanging out, gang banging, or whatever you want to call it, with absolutely nothing productive to do in society. And now his evil father, he has an entourage out in the lobby cheering on him. This is the kind of stuff that definitely we need to call out. Whomever needs to call out, because it's wrong, it's evil, it's vile, it's destroying our society. Our police officers are on the lines, like you said earlier, Nicole, for $60,000, $70,000 a year. Who wants to sign up for that? Who wants to sign up for that? What are we, or what have we been? And I'll say particularly Black people, because these people are Black. What have we been telling, or lack thereof, our children, grandchildren, for at least 2 generations, I should say? What have we been teaching them? I mean, I don't know. What have we been teaching them? What have they learned? They've learned seemingly a lot of violence, a lot of rage, a lot of victimhood, a lot of the white man is bad. They've learned that even more so than it was portrayed in the civil rights era to me.
Yeah, but it's not only the white man is bad, but men generally are bad, right? This again goes back to the destruction of the family. Yeah, it absolutely does. Dad is feeling some kind of way because his son was killed by the police, sitting in a stolen car. The police pull up, they jump out and run. He's got a gun. He turns around. He takes a blade position in front of a police officer. You're damn right that cop's shooting him, because that cop is going home to his own kid, right? He's going home to his family. He's going home to his family. So his father, who did nothing to prevent his son from sitting in that stolen car, did nothing to prevent his son from having that gun, suddenly feels like the right thing to do is to go kill any available cop he can find.
It's terrible.
Right? So when we talk about that very same pendulum you guys were talking about swinging the other way, And you want to know what the catalyst is, what the wind is, it's blowing that pendulum. It's stuff like this.
Yeah.
This is inexcusable by any race, but it is most inexcusable by our race. Let me tell you, we know better.
We should.
At some point, we have got to stop showing the world that we're nothing more than people who have savage behavior. We know better. This emotionalism, this I'm going to go off, I'm about to pop off, gets you nowhere. You know what it gets you? It talks you out of a $25 ticket for maybe riding with your tent too dark to a damn felony.
Or in your grave.
Because the only thing that you know how to do is pop off. You don't know how to conduct a conversation. The police ask you to put the window down, put the doggone window down. You're going to die over a window?
Well,
this man's going to prison forever. Do you hear me? If they don't give him the death penalty.
Yeah.
Here he is in his legal proceedings for bail. This is clip 8.
Got to have a seat. Got to have a seat.
Have a seat, sir.
Sit down.
Yeah, now the outburst goes on. Hinton is escorted out of the courtroom. They finally get things under control, and Hinton returns to the court for this hearing to hold him on no bond. It's a special hearing. It requires evidence to be presented. A prosecution called a Cincinnati police detective who said Hinton had been at the police station to meet with the chief and to see body cam of police from the day before. That body cam showed officers shooting Hinton's son, Ryan Hinton, to death. And it came as they stopped the stolen car. After leaving that scene and seeing this video, the detective said Hinton was very emotional. Family didn't even want him to drive home. He didn't, but he came back later to get his car, and then he headed to the area of the UC campus where Deputy Larry Henderson was directing traffic for the UC graduation. The detective said Hinton picked out the first officer he saw and accelerated toward him.
All right.
You know, it's so gross.
It
is
now,
absolutely gross.
that's niggery.
Listen,
That is nigger behavior right there.
hard R.
Yeah. This
Hard
I thought of a book, and this I read it. I think it came out. It was John McWhorter. I think it was his first book called Losing the Race, and this was like early 2000s. And part of the book talked about that one of the ongoing, challenges, particularly in the Black community, is going to be police relations with the community. John McWhorter said it in that book, Losing the Race. Go get it if you haven't read it. He talked about how that's going to be one of the, everlasting, perpetual bastions, if you will, that the conflict between the Black community and the police relations. I don't know I forget what his solutions were, but he talked about how it's going to be ongoing. This was early 2000 when he wrote this book. This reminds me that I think it's gotten worse, much worse. Somebody put in the comments that, the father is absolutely responsible for the child's behavior. No, they're not. This boy was, I think, 18 or 19, right? Yeah, because see, this is another minor point of these arguments. At what point do children, if you will, or children become responsible for their actions? At what point? In many other cultures, I think in Jewish culture, it's about 12 or 13. So
I'm sure the guy, but he had.
What do you mean?
The father? Again, the culture. You can clearly tell that the culture he created in his household, or lack of culture in the household, has added. He brought up this child to be an unchained mutt, an animal. He raised an animal.
Even if he didn't raise his son to be an animal, even if he did not do that, there's a particular part of manhood that wants to see your seed succeed, right? There's a particular part of manhood that says, I, with my two eyes, can see my son going down the wrong path. Because guarantee you it's not the first car he's ever stolen. I guarantee you the gun wasn't a joint purchase. Do you know what I mean? At some point, that father could have stood in front of his son and said, listen here, son, you're going down the wrong path. But what happens when the father never had that conversation with his father?
It looks like he encouraged it.
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
For the last 2 generations, and let's just call it what it is. For the last 2 generations, we have been asleep at the wheel.
Right.
We have allowed people to run amok.
Right.
We have allowed
No accountability.
to override good sense, knowledge, and power. When you think you win an argument by speaking the loudest, let's just roll back. Go back and watch the old episodes of Pop and Politics where you see in the Maryland House of Delegates, a sitting delegate gets shouted down, you're not going to talk louder than me. These are 2 Black women.
Mm-hmm.
Who cares who talks the loudest?
Right.
That's not who we are as human beings. And I say this all the time, and y'all can ride me if you want to about it. It makes me no difference. You know, I'm no longer an elected person. I'm just going to tell you some Nicole Bennett truth. Listen, not everybody's going to make the journey with his fam. They're not.
Yeah.
There are going to be some people who are left behind, and we got to be okay with that.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just truth. There's a certain level where people get to a point where they're at a crossroads.
Mm-hmm.
What life are you going to have? What life are you going to lead?
The fork in the road.
The fork in the road. And I'm going to tell you, all 3 of these, all of us ladies and the people here at MCM are people who mentor people who give good advice, sound advice to people. But there are people in their lives who don't have that. So we've got 2 generations of, I'm going to run a cop over. I'm going to go kill a cop. I'm going to steal a car and aim a gun at a police officer. And when bad things happen, Black America can't go, oh, look, they're racist. We can't say that. That's not the card we have. That's not the card we have. And we have got to get real honest about that.
Yeah. No excuses. And accountability is key.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what's lacking in our community. It's the blame game. It's no accountability. And it's no respect.
Exactly.
No respect for human life. No respect for authority. No respect for elderly. I was in the store today and looking for some appliances. And 2 young men working in the store, I guess they had accidentally spilled something on the floor. And they were just, I guess they were, customer service reps. And they just started hurling off all this foul language, these profanity, just out in the middle of the aisle, in the middle of the store. No kind of respect or say, well, I wonder if there are children here. I wonder if well, of course, the whole store was full of people. When was that okay?
Yes.
No, it wasn't okay. But again, for the last at least 2 generations, it has, I don't know if it was an unwritten rule that it is okay or what. It's part of this. Again, power culture. What is Jason, whatever his name is?
It's like they don't have any vocabulary, though. It's every single other word they spoke was a curse word.
They don't have a vocabulary, KJ.
And it was loud. It was loud for everyone to hear.
They think that's powerful.
Exactly.
They think it's powerful. They think that's the way that powerful people behave. They really do.
In their culture, they do.
Yes.
In that subculture, I should say. In that subculture, they do. So this is why every culture, subculture, whatever, has the same dynamics as the larger society. Many times they are on the opposite pendulum side, but they are vying for the same. They're vying for status. They're vying to be seen for a power, whatever. And this idea of, again, you talking about they were just doing it, they don't have a sense of looking at themselves outside of themselves.
It used to be a societal norm, and we have gotten to a point where societal norms have broken down to nothing. It used to be a situation where if you were in a public place, or if you were in school, or you were in church, or wherever, you spoke a certain way. If you want to talk around, curse and all that type of stuff around your friends, but behind closed doors, whatever, that was fine. But you didn't do it in public, especially when children or adults were around.